Well, hello everyone and welcome to another very exciting episode here on the Am I Gardener channel. I know you all are going to love this one. So in this episode, we're out here in a beautiful windy day. It is, it's a little windy, but it is refreshing, it's cool, and it's a perfect day. So we're out here in the garden today doing some harvesting, and I know you all love harvest videos, so I'm going to show you how we harvest our chamomile to make chamomile tea. This is a real easy thing that you can do. Chamomile is such a beautiful plant to grow. It's great for pollinators, wonderful for herbal teas, and we absolutely love it. When we're preparing herbal teas, we love to have a couple go-to ones. We love to have peppermint tea prepared, and we love to have chamomile tea prepared. One, if you're having some sleeping issues at night, or if you're having a hard time going to bed, chamomile tea is your go-to. Peppermint tea, if you're like me and it's allergy season, you have some occasional coughs or some bronchitis, things like that to kind of work up on you. And so having sore throats, things like that, we've all had them. Having peppermint tea is great for that. So I'm going to show you how we harvest our peppermint and our chamomile to make peppermint tea or chamomile tea. It's real simple, and it's something that you definitely don't need to overcomplicate. But while we're here, I also wanted to show you the arugula that we started, as well as the Mizuna red streaks mustard and the peas. The peas are growing up wonderfully. So come on in close. I'll show you guys that. It is such an awesome little high intensity little block here. This is one of Cindy's favorite spots, and I think it might be one of mine too. It's just the different colors and textures, and the visual appeal here is just outstanding. So coming in close, let's check this stuff out here, and then we'll harvest the chamomile, and then we'll harvest the peppermint, and then we'll get them ready for drying for tea. So our plan worked absolutely flawlessly. I could not believe how well this worked. You have the chamomile here, which is done just awesome. Then you have the arugula down here, which is a spring green, but even though it's been hot, it's been shaded, the soil's been shaded, it's not bolting whatsoever. It looks wonderful. And then you have Mizuna red streaks mustard in here, these just gentle, frilly red leaves. Love those in salads, adds texture and flavor. And these are an early spring green, but they have been kind of shaded out as well. The cool soil has allowed for them to stay nice and compact. And then you have the peas. These are the Tom Thumb dwarf peas. These are crawling up the trellis just perfectly. They're not a large pea. Again, they only get about 8 to 10 inches full size, which is remarkable. But look at that. Look at the production we're getting on these things. The flowers are just prolific. The fruit production is just awesome. So harvesting chamomile flowers could not be easier. You want to harvest them ideally when the petals are totally straight outwards. If the petals are curling backwards, it's a little bit late. It has still decent flavor, but the flavor is a little more mute. So we'll pick them all, but what's really easy is just letting the flowers go through the cracks of your finger, closing your fingers together, and then just pulling upwards. And you harvest a perfect chamomile flower every single time with very little stem on the back. So the stems, they don't add a whole lot of flavor. I mean, you can leave them on, that's not a big deal. You don't have to worry about getting every little stem out. The stems are a tiny bit bitter, but the stems of the chamomile are still edible. So it's not like it's going to be dangerous or anything. It's just if you want a more pure flavor, I tend to pick the flowers off if possible, or pick the stems off if possible. Now, a question I know I'm going to get with growing chamomile is, once you pick the flowers, will anything else grow? Absolutely. When you pick the flowers, you can prune the plant back and more flowers will come back. They will be slightly smaller than the first flush of flowers, but they will flower nonetheless. And so we'll come back here, and you usually get about 3 or 4 harvests in a season. So it's definitely not a one-time grow, but they do grow very fast. So if you if you want to plant more for succession and have all large flowers, you could pull these out even and reseed, and you could easily have still probably 2 or 3 harvests during the year. Guaranteed you could have 2. You might get a 3rd harvest if you reseed it every single time, because it's about 45 days to full maturity. So in a season like ours, you could probably get away with 3, but you'd be pushing it. From those 4 plants there, got about, say, maybe 4 or 5 ounces of flowers, and those will dry down to be maybe about an ounce worth of chamomile. So not a ton, but it's homegrown, and homegrown you can't beat. So let's head over to the peppermint, and we can harvest some peppermint for drying as well. So with peppermint, it's real easy. I'm just coming through here and I'm just pruning off about 3 or 4 inches off of each different stalk. And the ones that are the most fragrant are the most deeply colored. The ones with purple on the stems, those are going to be your more fragrant ones to select. The fresher they are, the more oils they have, and they're just much easier to use. So I come through here and I just keep pruning these back about every week or so, and that way it keeps the plant nice and compact, encourages more growth, and we'll use all of this for drying to make peppermint tea. So now we got our bowl of chamomile flowers and peppermint. All we're going to do is just pull off all of the peppermint leaves from the peppermint, and I like to do this by just taking my hand at the very top and pulling downwards, and that will de-stem all of the peppermint, and then you can take your fingers and just grab that last little bit of leaves at the top. And all you want is the leaves, because the stems have a lot of moisture in them, and the idea is to basically have as little moisture as possible, because you need to dry them out. When you dry them out, the flavor intensifies, and you can make fresh tea, and lots of people do. I just prefer to have it dried, because then it stays fresh longer, and I can store it into the winter when colds and warm teas are almost a regular occurrence. So it allows me to preserve my harvest. And we're just going to continue to de-stem the peppermint. The chamomile flowers, you don't have to do anything to. Ideally, you want to harvest the chamomile flowers when it is about midday, the driest part of the day. Don't do it after it just rained or things like that, because you want, again, less moisture. The less moisture, the better. And we're going to put this just in a shoebox. Really, a shoebox in a dark closet. Light will kind of ruin the flavor. You'll have kind of an off flavor if you keep it in the light. So I tend to just put it in our pantry in a shoebox, in a cardboard shoebox, and it will dry up nicely. There you go. There is the haul for today of mint and chamomile. Hopefully you all enjoyed. Hopefully you learned something new, and maybe sometime during the off season I'll show you just how easy it is to make mint and chamomile tea. So hopefully you did enjoy. Hopefully you learned something new, and I do hope that you're growing big or going home. All right, I'll catch y'all later, guys. See ya. Bye.